and we have had a great relationship. That's the greatest thing about this. You become friends with your customers, but it's always important to have a little bit of a consultation, even though you've done them for 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 month. Always go back to having a consultation, finding out what they love about their hair, what they don't, and to give them options and change. Some people love to stay the same, but some people really love to have different choices. So this is how you do a consultation. You ask them what they love about their hair, what they don't like about it, what is the goal. If they're like, you know what, I really want to change, but I really have this goal for long term, I want to grow it out. So then you're going to have to learn how to have a process of helping them grow the hair out. So today, this is Tammy.
Hello, good
So
morning.
I'm going to ask her, so this way you could really see live how her own needs and what she'd want. Now, I've been doing her hair 4 or 5 years. Just think of that. You think, oh, they just want the same thing all the time. But it's good to hear their heart, what they think about their hair. So what do you think? What are your thoughts about your hair?
Okay, well, I do have some funny cowlicks, and although I get it cut short and the whole hairstyle lasts for anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks, my back often gets funny. I'm particular that I don't want it squared off.
Okay.
So I find I always need this piece cut before everything else.
Okay, so a little extra in that
A little
back.
extra there.
So this is going to be an a la carte haircut. It's going to be the needs that she has. That's what we're going to do. Take it by piece by piece. What about your sides, Tammy? How's your
Well,
sides?
My sides are with the back. They seem to come down. Although I want that point, these two grow out before everything else. So
Okay.
they need an extra little love and care. And then I do like where it's over the ear but a little fringed.
Okay.
So I'm liking how it's coming down now. I just want a little cleanup.
What about your front?
I like the front long now. I want to keep it that way.
Okay, so we're not really going to touch the front then.
Maybe just a little cleanup.
Just a little tiny on the edges. So that would be called
I'm
a
still-
dusting.
yeah.
When somebody doesn't really want it, but you want to get the very, very, very little, tiny ends, it'd be called a dusting. You're just going to get that little, tiny end. That's it. That'll be great, and we'll do your sides. How about this top? Do you want this a little spiky here? Or do you
I
want it
like
maybe to
that.
grow out a little bit?
I do like to have an option, to wear it a little messy when I want, or when you want to kind of put a little bump in
Okay,
the back.
good.
So I guess if I go too short, I don't have both options. but
Okay, so
I
we'll
do
just
like
trim it
some
actually.
height in here and texture in here so it doesn't lie flat.
Okay, so this is the good thing. Right here, what I'm going to do, because she has some body here, I'm going to actually leave this length. What I'm going to do is come in this next piece here, because look how it's laying. You want to look at the hair and say, okay, what can I do to change this so it's easier for them? So what I would do is come under here, and I would actually start here, and I'm going to cut little tiny notches in that hair so that all of this kind of comes up and be able to come under. And then we will see her little cowlick here. I'll have this hair blended, and I'm going to kind of come in and taper this part in here. So it kind of feathers, and then this comes down and very feminine.
Right.
You always want short hair to be very feminine and strikingly beautiful. All right, how about your color? What are we going to do with your color?
Well, I do want to break my base down.
Okay.
And I do fear being too copper
Okay,
or
because
too brown.
now break the base is this. Her hair right here is like a little ashy. So what we want to do is put a little bit of warmth. So there's different levels of break the base. That means that it's a color with 20 volume peroxide, and you pick the different levels that you want. When you just want to do a little, we're going to do a level 7, and I'll explain to you what those levels are so that you'll know in a different video. But that's what I'm going to use on her, and it just bumps up the hair 1 level. That's all we want. If you go 2 levels, it'll get too orangey. So you gotta be careful with that break the base. Just to say, okay, I'm gonna do a little. You could just use 10 volume as well. And 10 volume will just do a little as well, just so it takes the ash out of her hair. And it does not cover gray, but it will blend all this, that I didn't even have to do highlights on her if she didn't want to. But we like her bright because the spring is coming, so we're gonna brighten her up and make it just a little bit more strikingly blonde, right? You want some blonde in there?
I definitely want to lighten. I do believe I need a full head of highlights.
Good. So we'll make her nice and bright all over. I'm going to do highlights here, and I'm going to show you how to do short hair and highlights. One thing I'm going to say is short hair is way harder to highlight than long hair. Long hair is much easier. You have a whole entire strand. Short hair, you have this little tiny piece. It's hard to weave. It's hard. But I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And this will be a great beginner for short hair. All right, and I will get everything mixed. All right, so this is a break the base. How we originally chose to do a break the base on her, because she loves to be blonde. So what we were finding was her own color is so ashy, then with like these stark highlights, it almost looked a little too, not gray and white, because ash tends to be more gray. It was just like a very cool colors, just so you know, are like purple, blue, warm is red, yellow, and orange. So green is also cool too. So it's purple, blue, and green is cool colors. Red, orange, and yellow is warm colors. When you want to add, because she's a little ashy, in here is neutral. It's a level 7 with 20 volume neutral. And we use certain little color that will actually lift within the first 15 minutes before it starts depositing. And we only leave it on 5 minutes. And that is what made us choose to do a break the base, because you don't always have to do those highlights. And Tammy really didn't just want an old-fashioned look. She wanted more updated and to be bright. And that was our choice. And it really was a great choice. How long we've been doing this now? 2 years?
Yeah, I think just about that now.
It's quick, efficient, and easy. Now listen, I'm
Holds
a big...
Up too, holds up, I'm sorry, and about 8 weeks, 10 weeks before needing it again.
Right. And you don't always have to do highlights, so it saves them money in another way. I think it's very cost efficient too. All right, so normally when you do a touch up with a bottle, a lot of people now and a lot of young girls do a bowl and a brush, but I am going to do this in a bottle because it's quick, efficient, and fast. More girls in beauty school today are learning with the bowl and a brush, but it's not as fast and effective. Remember, this is only 5 minutes, so it works quick. So I'm going to take the first part here. You just take it and you just smush it. Take the next section, just smush it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You do not want to touch any of the other blonde. I'm only touching her dark hair, which is not super dark, but it's more of a little bit of an ashy color. So your pinkies are your sectioner. It kind of grabs it. It's your little clip, your little claw. You take your thumb and you just smush it along. Okay, now I'm going to just make sure you get that hairline. So just get in that little hairline. Now I'm going to actually come to the other side. Why don't you put your head down? And you just have to do a line of it. I'm going to come all the way down to her ear. Okay, because I'm highlighting her today too, I'm doing the break the base first. And you'll see how nice and more lighter and more blended it will look. And you make sure you're holding that hair. I'm holding this hair tight. When I section that piece, this is tight in my hand. It's very taut. Any parts that are dark, I'm just doing that. And you're doing it quick and efficient. Concentrate on what you're doing. Most of the time, yes, I'll be talking through this because I've been doing it for so long. I know how to do it easy, but in the beginning, I would probably not talk much, and I would concentrate on what you're doing and do it fast and efficiently. Or fast and effective. Even this side, you grab that little piece, and it's okay if you touch the blonde a little bit. You just don't want to touch it a lot, because it can make it look spotty. If you see a spot somewhere, that meant that you touched it. Make sure all your gloves are clean. If not, you should have a towel and just wipe it off real quick. And make sure, again, that hairline is good. And then you let it air. You aerate it a little. Okay, listen. Always have a wet towel right next to you so that you can wipe your hand off. I had to wipe this part off. You don't want it to touch this blonde hair. Very, very important. It will get spotted. So, especially if this was an ash color, because we do ashes on different people. On Tammy, we do it a little more neutral so that it will pick up her own little bit of warmth. Okay, now I'm going to go straight down. And this is actually all her own hair anyway, so that's no big deal. Now your head up. Now I'm going to kind of go like a pizza. Okay, remember, you take the nozzle, section that hair, pull it with your finger. So you're going to take that nozzle. Now listen, grab that hair together. Take the nozzle, clip the hair. Nozzle, clip the hair. Now you can actually just pull it up, because this is like the harder part. Short hair is a lot harder because you can't really, you don't have a lot of grip on the hair because it's short. And it's okay if this gets colored because it has no blonde in it, so it would never spot it. Okay, now you aerate this side, just kind of bring it out. And if you did it with a bowl and a brush, it would take a little longer, and it would be neater though. If you really need to be super neat, that's fine. You don't have to. This is a more freestyle way of coloring and cutting hair. And remember, I'm doing it fast and efficiently. Now I'm just gonna lift that hair up. Remember, there's no blonde in here, so I could really just get all that hair. Even if you kind of take that hair and just go inside of it, just so you don't miss anything. You gotta do little section by little section. Get in there, good. Okay, now I'm gonna set a timer, and look, it's starting to get lighter already. And you could watch it. So right now, I feel like she's ready. So I'm gonna leave it on for 1 minute, just because I took a little longer to do it. But it's looking good, and I want it just soft. Okay, so timer. Timers are really important. I want you to always be thoughtful about time, because this way you look at the clock just in case your timer doesn't work. And trust me when I tell you, there's been many times that I'm like, oh my gosh, that timer didn't go off. So you guys gotta remember, if your timer is not efficient and doesn't work, and sometimes you don't know until like it's been a while, oh, did their timer go off yet? It should have went off. And then meanwhile, it's on 0, but it never rang. So remember, timers are important. Always be aware of the time. So this is only gonna be a couple minutes. But when it's 45 minutes and you're doing something else, it's really important that you make sure you have a good timer, or you just be aware of time. Okay, this is cold. Gotta wait until the water warms up. Don't ever put cold water on somebody's head. And you got to get it off though, so even if it is cold and it didn't warm up within a minute, then you have to just put it on anyway. And just be careful though, because once it warms up, it might really start to get too hot, which it's going to do. Is that good, Tammy?
Perfect, thank
and
you.
Always ask the customer, is that good? Is it too much pressure? This is for those shampoo girls that...
Little bit warm, Kimmy.
Warmer?
A little cooler is better.
Okay.
It's just a little too warm. Thank you.
It's always important to ask the client and find out what's going on. Always connect with that client. Remember, connection is the most important thing of the whole entire haircut and highlights. You know, you become friends with your customers, care about them. And the most important thing too, washing their hair, is to make sure you use the tips of your fingers to massage them. They love, love, love a massage. All right, now I'm gonna take these off, and I always save my gloves. This is a very cost-efficient thing. So what you do is just blow in there and get, this way it doesn't have water in there. And then the gloves are good, and you just put them to dry. I really won't need those gloves again. You could feel the water better too when you don't have gloves on. Make sure you get underneath. You're gonna cup your hand and make sure they don't lift their whole neck up. Okay, now I'm going to take 1 squirt of shampoo, and I am going to use something illuminating on her. And what you do is you really make sure you get the middle of the hair, get the right and the left side, and then you're going to get the whole back, and then underneath. You have to pick their head up a little bit, and you really have to get their neck. Most important thing, if their hairline is too low underneath, you just take a towel and you wet it, and then you can wipe it off first that way, then put them back in the sink. Because it's hard to get that hairline. Make sure they don't have any color on their face. Wipe it off, massage them. Take your thumbs and you're gonna massage, massage, massage. Take your fingers, massage, massage, massage. And trust me, it's called a de-stressor. And customers love the shampoo. They only just sometimes want to come in just for the shampoo. That's how good it is. You want to make everybody's experience beautiful, comforting, relaxing. There's so much stress at home, especially if they have kids and they're running and going. So you want to make this a very lovely experience for every customer. Just make sure you take this and you don't splatter it all over their face. If you have a very high pressured sink, you give them a towel to put over their face. Don't let it just go in their ear. Make sure you're rinsing it around their ear. And you could always cup your hand and get it underneath. Lift the hair up a little so you can get all the soap out. And for color, you always do 2 shampoos. If they don't have color, then you only have to do 1. Otherwise, you do 2. Because the color really is hard to get out. Break the bases are easier. It's permanent color. That takes a lot more to get out. Okay, I am going to use a tiny bit of conditioner because then we're going to blow dry her and then do highlights. She only needs a little because you don't want to weigh down fine hair, but because we're doing highlights in it, you want it to be manageable. Make sure you get it out, lift that hair up, get through there. Make sure you cup it, get underneath so you don't get them wet. Perfect. Good, good, good. Now I always drain the hair out. I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to drain all that hair first because you don't want it soaking wet in a towel, and you want to be thoughtful about the towels because trust me, they go very quickly. Dry your hands. Take it. You're going to wrap it around the front of their head, and then you get the bottom. Make sure you get it all in there, and then you could sit them up. And then I like to just towel dry them a little bit. But I already got a lot of the moisture out of the hair when I wrung it out real quick. Okay, now we're gonna dry her and then we're gonna highlight her now. And then you guys can really see the nice warmth in the base that we have now. Okay, so this is called a rough dry. This is when you just need to dry it really quick. No perfect blow dry, just a rough dry, but still get the hair the way you want it to lay, because this is going to be her problem spot when I have to highlight it. So you make sure it's kind of flat right here. Get everything nice and flat. Because short hair is hard to actually highlight because it's short. So look at the difference of the color though. Look how nice that color is. Even if I didn't highlight her, it would still look great. And she could just, looks like I did a whole thing. It's just softer in the root now. All right, good, now we're gonna highlight.